Outer Frontier. Book 1. The Declaration of War. Chapter 8. The Wall. No one aboard the Radiant Judgment questioned Fleet Marshal Hayes' warning. No one dismissed it, yet no one truly understood it either. The Imperial Fleet continued forward. Hours passed, then another. The stars became strangely distorted. Navigation computers requested manual confirmation of every course correction. Subspace interference intensified until long-range communication ceased entirely. The fleet had crossed beyond every chart ever produced by the Galactic Union. Officially, they were no longer anywhere. The first indication came from passive sensors. Not energy, not radiation. Gravity, tiny fluctuations, thousands of them, each lasting less than a fraction of a second. Science Officer Hellion frowned. Those aren't natural. What causes them? She stopped. I don't know. Then came the second anomaly. Wreckage, not scattered randomly. Organized, almost deliberately. Thousands of destroyed vessels drifted through an immense volume of space. Human, unknown, ancient, recent. Some were little more than twisted skeletons. Others still carried emergency beacons that had exhausted their power only weeks before. There were simply too many. No battle recorded in galactic history had ever involved so many ships. Commander Terrell whispered this wasn't one battle. No, Admiral Vaylor kept his eyes fixed ahead. It was many. The fleet slowed. Sensors began identifying objects faster than the computers could classify them. Orbital weapon platforms, minefields, automated drone stations, repair docks, listening arrays, communication relays, entire artificial moons converted into military installations. Everywhere, there seemed to be no end to them. Some were centuries old. Others gleamed with fresh construction, layer upon layer, generation after generation. Humanity had not built a frontier. They had built a fortress. Contact. Another report. Designation. Human. The tactical display zoomed. At first, Vaylor thought he was looking at a moon. Then the object rotated. It was a station. Its central structure measured over 30 kilometers across. 6 rotating habitat rings surrounded an immense armored core. Hundreds of shipyards projected outward like the spokes of a wheel. Thousands of vessels surrounded it, some under construction, others under repair, others preparing to depart. Across its outer hull, illuminated by floodlights visible from millions of kilometers away, enormous letters had been painted directly onto the armor. Bastion 9. Commander Terrell stared. Our largest naval station would fit inside one of its dry docks. No one corrected him, because he was right. Traffic around the station was unlike anything the Dominion had imagined possible. Hospital ships arrived every few minutes. Ammunition carriers departed in endless streams. Fuel tankers docked and undocked continuously. Heavy transports unloaded replacement armor measured not in tons, but in mountains of metal. Nothing paused. Nothing waited. Every movement had purpose. Every second mattered. Then, the alarm sounded. Not aboard the Imperial Fleet. Across the human network. Every beacon, every station, every ship. The same message echoed simultaneously across open military frequencies. Outer defensive alert. Sector Orion-Theta. Breach detected. All available combat groups respond. The effect was immediate. Thousands of ships changed course. Repair operations stopped. Cargo cranes froze in place. Docking clamps released vessels before refueling had even finished. Fighters launched by the hundreds, then by the thousands. Massive carriers accelerated away from the station. Destroyers abandoned escort formations. Cruisers ignited engine, still glowing from recent repairs. The entire fortress came alive. Not with panic, with routine. This had happened before. Many times. Admiral Vaylor watched in disbelief. No orders were shouted. No confusion spread. Every captain already knew exactly where to go. Exactly what to do. As though every person present had rehearsed this moment hundreds of times. Then the sensors detected it. Far ahead, at extreme range, a wall of energy, unlike anything recorded by Dominion science. Not a beam, not an explosion, an expanding horizon of distorted space itself. It stretched for thousands of kilometers. Beyond it, the sensors failed. Hellion adjusted every frequency. Nothing. It isn't interference. She looked toward the Admiral. The instruments simply stopped making sense. For a brief instant, the distortion weakened. Just enough. The forward telescopes captured a single frame. One image. Only one. It flashed across every screen on the bridge. Silence followed. No officer spoke. No one breathed. Something moved behind the collapsing wall of distorted space. Not a ship. Not a station. Not anything that possessed recognizable geometry. It was simply immense. Its silhouette eclipsed entire constellations behind it. Dozens, perhaps hundreds, of smaller shapes surrounded it, flowing through space like predators emerging from an ocean trench. The image vanished. Sensors lost contact. The distortion closed once more. No one aboard the Radiant Judgment attempted to identify what they had seen, because no classification existed. At that exact moment, hundreds of human warships roared past the Imperial Fleet at full combat acceleration. None requested permission. None acknowledged the Dominion. Every captain had only one destination: the breach. Admiral Cassian Vaylor stood motionless before the great observation window. Only hours earlier, he had believed himself to be leading the most powerful fleet ever assembled. Now, his 250 immaculate warships seemed impossibly small. Not because they lacked courage, not because they lacked firepower, but because for the first time in his life, he understood scale. This was not a border dispute. This was not even a war. It was a siege. And humanity had been holding the wall alone.